So shout out to everybody. Shout out to all the subscribers, everybody that's been rocking with me. I had to leave for a second, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I had to go to the store. I was talking to y'all. I realized that the store's about to close, you know what I'm saying? So I had to roll out. We ended up reacting and talking about a lot of different things that have been going on in politics. We've seen a lot of voters like change their perspective on whether or not they're going to be red party or blue party or blue party or red party. And from what it seems like Kamala Harris is in a situation to where she knows she has to do something different, right? Black voters no longer have confidence in what she's been presenting them. So she went ahead and she had Obama come out, try to shame us. We seen that I think it was a MSNBC that had an anchor on there that tried to call everybody fascists and, who didn't want to support Kamala Harris. We've seen a lot of different people with different opinions, than reality. It just is what it is. Sometimes like people just, fall off the bridge mentally. But in terms of Kamala Harris, she's agreed to do an interview tomorrow, which is going to be, by the time this airs, it'll be today. You know what I mean? But tomorrow she's going to do an interview on Fox News. And people are really excited to see what is she going to talk about and if she's going to get actual pushback. I went ahead, I watched the interview that she just had with Charlamagne the God. And this interview with Charlamagne the God, in my personal opinion, he held her hand throughout this entire interview. This entire interview, he held her hand. And you can tell he probably took her in the back and just discussed to her what the issues and problems are that people are having with her. Because the questions were very guided. And then he would kind of just take over at times and just say, kind of just let her know, okay, this is the hot button issue. Like people are, and she just kind of rode with it, right? She spent a lot of time blaming Trump for multiple different things. The one thing I do want to commend Charlamagne the God on, he did ask her some good questions. What do you, black people are always told to vote Democrat, and they've been doing it, with dedication to the Democratic Party, and they feel like they're not getting anything back from it. And she's acknowledging that. She thinks that is an issue. She was also asked about reparations. What is she going to do about that? And she kind of had an interesting take on that, like the reparations question. Let me see if I could let y'all see that.
Well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question about that. And I've been very clear about that position. In terms of my immediate plan, I will tell you a few of the following. One, as it relates to the economy, which is a lot of what you have addressed. Mm-hmm. Look, I grew up in the middle class. My mother...
No, she did not. Wait a minute.
Worked hard, raised me and my sister, and by the time I was in high school, she was able to afford our first home. I know what it means for an individual and a family to have...
So that was her answer. What are you going to do about reparations? Her answer was, I grew up in a middle-class family. She did it again. Charlamagne did ask her a question, right? He was just like, what do you say about voters that think you have a lot? Shout out to Sugar Black in here. Yo, it's just, she said it like, I can't believe she did it again, Sugar Black. But Charlamagne the God did ask her, like, what do you think about, voters having an issue with you saying the same things over and over again? And she said, well, sometimes like the human brain works where you got to say things more than 3 times. And so I'm going to make sure I say basically her sound bites. I'm going to say them over and over again. I'm going to say it in this state. I'm going to say it in this state. I'm going to say it in this state, because repetition is what people need. Kamala Harris, I do not believe, me personally, shout out to you, I do not believe people need to hear that you grew up in a middle-class household over and over again. I do not think people need to hear that your mother was a small business owner over and over again. I don't think we need to hear that. Charlamagne did press her on some things. He was just like, oh, well, in terms of legalization of you know what I mean, smoke, right? And she said that she's in support of legalizing it, but her record indicates differently. I thought she prosecuted it. Am I like wrong about that? Like, am I missing something? Y'all tell me what y'all think. I thought she was like very hard on things like that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Like about that. But the interview was very guided. I just didn't like the interview, guys. People are starting to talk, right? Let's see what he got to say. Black conservative perspective. I rock with him. Subscribe to his channel. I ended up subscribing to his channel. I think he's got a very good opinion on what's going on. And, you know, for the most part, I think he tries to keep it real. Shout out to him. I watched his growth from, I think he had 40,000 subscribers all the way up to 864,000 subscribers. So I do want to say shout out to him. Also, if y'all can, in the comment section, hit the like button. It would be greatly appreciated. Before we get into this video, I do want to recap a little bit of what we talked about today. We seen that Candace Owens ended up letting the cat out of the bag with Obama. So you might want to watch that video that we did, or you can go over there and watch Candace Owens, her podcast, and see what she said. She kind of went in length. She revealed who Obama's ex-girlfriend was, allegedly, and then some of the things that he told her about who he really likes. Interesting. Then she goes on ahead and questions Kamala Harris, and she questions Obama. One thing that she questions Kamala Harris on is like, yo, there's a document saying that you were married previously. And she tries to, you know, she's protecting herself. Candace Owens is protecting herself, saying, yo, this is kind of suspicious because it's like somebody with the exact same name as you. And it's saying that you married somebody, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, what is, like, who is this person that you were allegedly married to? But, you know, I don't know if this is actually her, because sometimes, even though names can be not common, people can have a not common name, first, middle, and last name. Let me just put this out to the public so people can look at it and review it for themselves. Very good way of Candace Owens kind of revealing that situation, right? And Candace Owens is asking some questions. She's like, yo, we don't really know who you guys are. Obama, like you know, when you talk about the struggle and now you talking about black men are the brothers. What do you mean by that? Because as far as I'm concerned, like you didn't grow up in a hood. You didn't really grow up around people that you're trying to shame. You grew up in a wealthy household. I don't know. This is what Candace Owens is saying. So how dare you shame Black America or black men for not voting for Kamala? And she's asking about Kamala, like, where are you from? She ended up revealing, like, hey, they showing fake family members. A lady that allegedly is the help of the house is they're trying to market that as if it's Kamala Harris's grandmother. And Candace Owens does the research and she markets it. And I'm wondering, did Charlamagne the God ask her that question? I don't remember him asking her that. And all those guided questions that he had, I don't remember him asking her that question. Charlamagne the God, the Jessica Reed case, underage. He was alleged to have done the unthinkable. A lot of that information has been sanitized from the media, YouTube. And this is who she chooses to stand across from. Interesting. Interesting. Shout out to the Big Wave, Dave 82, Sugar Black. Shout out to you. This is EJ Humble in the comments and in the comment section. Sleepy Inc. in the comment section. ACP in the comment section. Brandon S. in the comment section. Hit the like button if y'all can. The last video, I think we got like 60-something thousand views, if I'm not mistaken. It's still like processing, you know what I'm saying? So I think by the time it's done, y'all will probably see like 60-something thousand, close to 70,000 views. That's y'all hitting the like button, subscribing. But for some reason, like Kamala Harris, she thinks Charlamagne the God is a representation of Black America. She doesn't even know. A lot of us do not even like his opinion on anything. So this is who she chooses to stand across from. Makes no sense to me. Maybe to other people. Not to me. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's listen to see what people have to say about this interesting interview.
Finally, Kamala Harris sent us a love letter. That, to you, that might have been a policy document. I read that as a love letter from Kamala Harris to Black men who need some love, Black men who need some respect, Black men who need some concern and some care and consideration. You know, we need some mamala from.
We need some mamala. What are you? Wait a minute, Thug Life. I will pick Candace Owens any day over Kamala Harris. What did you saying? Has he lost it? We know he lost the hairline. Thug Life. I'm not going in. It is what it is. Has he lost it? He think we need some mamala like Thug Life. What is he saying, y'all? I'm sorry. I ate some Chick-fil-A. I'm kind of in the mood to wow. What are you saying, bruh?
Finally, Kamala Harris sent us a love letter. That, to you, that might have been a policy document. I read that as a love letter from Kamala Harris to Black men who need some love.
You know what? This simp nature, like the simp nature of like some men, like, oh, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, bro.
Black men who need some respect, Black men who need some concern and some care and consideration. You know, we need some mamala from.
He probably one of them dudes in the TikTok comments sending all kind of galaxies to simping out. Hey, y'all. Hey, Black men, y'all think we need some mamala? Mara C said, Kamala is not my mama. Visual Rise said, I ain't listening to nothing this cryberry. This is crazy. And then Ann said, Kamala, nobody mom, she don't have kids. Sugar Black said, repulsive.
From Kamala. And we got that. We stood on business. We said we wanted to hear something. Everybody else is getting something. What are we going to get? And she came with a love letter of support for our work, our wealth, and our health.
Did y'all see? He probably gonna go in. Did y'all see that scripted disaster of an interview? Did y'all see Thug Life? She's being asked about whether or not she's going to give us reparations, and she tells us she's growing up in a middle-class household. And you think this is a love letter? Thug Life. You are misinformed, sir. I'm sorry, my blood pressure. It is what it is. You think this is a love letter? You think we finally are getting somewhere? Let me tone it down. Let me tone it down.
Else is getting something. What are we going to get? And she came with a love letter of support for our work, our wealth, and our health.
Meanwhile.
So how would you assess how the vice president's doing with 3 weeks to go?
I mean, look, everybody's worried. I'd be considered a supporter, and I'm worried in regards to what the polling is suggesting and to what around Black men.
Jerry Flynn Dale, who works in the city's hip-hop music industry, feels there hasn't been enough outreach to the Black community.
She definitely needs to talk to Black males. The hip-hop community needs to hear more from VP Harris about what is her plans and plans of action for black males. A lot of black males are not into the Harris campaign.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about what I am dubbing to be the Race Hustlers Town Hall, okay? Because that's exactly what this Breakfast Club Town Hall
I'm not giving in,
featuring
big wave.
Leonard
No.
McKelvey, a.k.a. Charlamagne.
We winning right now. I think we up.
And Kamala Harris, who is currently struggling with black voters, specifically black men. And because of that, the race hustling has turned up to a whole new level. And we know that Leonard McKelvey is one of the biggest race hustlers in the media, because when you don't have...
I will say this. You know what I mean? Charlamagne, I am kind of being a little difficult on you. Shout out. You grilled her on her saying the same thing over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, over again. I give you that. But a lot of this interview, you held her hand. And now the world is looking at Charlamagne the God as if he is somebody that is important. Thug life. He is a mouthpiece for what we want and think in America. Charlamagne. We not doing this, bro. Y'all Democrats couldn't have picked somebody else. You might as well should have had Jay-Z up there or something. Like, it is what it is. Charlamagne, every time somebody makes an articulate point on the Breakfast Club, he cuts them off and redirects them to some nonsense that's going on in entertainment. This guy, are you serious? Are you serious? He is not a representation of all of us. Scripted interview. They probably did a meeting like, yo, we gonna do an interview with you, but you gotta, just take it easy, big guy. That was the easiest interview. Like, they basically, there's probably a teleprompter somewhere. Like, it was so easy. The teleprompter was cut off. She didn't have to say nothing, but she's a middle-class lady. And that's it.
Have real talent, you have to race hustle, right? That's how you get by. That's how you can make a living in America when you don't have a lot of talent, right? You got to race hustle. You got to play the race game, okay? And there were a whole lot of race baiting questions, stupid questions, really, during this town hall that we have to go over here. And probably one important question that Charlamagne the God slipped up and asked that I really want to react to. But first, we got to go over some of the stupid questions, okay? Because there were a whole lot of them, okay?
A whole lot of them.
Including the question about reparations, in which Kamala Harris gives the same answer that she always gives to any question that she doesn't really know how to answer, which is that I grew up in a middle-class family. Take a look.
My question.
Really quick, guys. How dense does she think we are? How much does she think we not think? That we can't see she's saying this over and over and over and over again.
To you is, what's your stance on reparations? We all know that America became great, off the backs of free black labor. How progressive are you on making it a priority and righting America's wrongs? It's understood that you are running for president for all people of America. Asking for specifics for black communities doesn't mean don't do for others, but black Americans are heavily asked to vote Democrat in every election for over half a century with very little in return. What are your plans to address these very important issues and change that narrative?
Thank you, Zeke.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for your work. So to your point, yes, I am running to be a president for all Americans. That being said, I do have clear eyes about the disparities that exist and the context in which they exist, meaning history. to your point. So my agenda, well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question about that. And I've been very clear about
How many years does it need to be studied? How many years does it need to be studied? How many elections does it need to be studied? When are y'all going to do something? When are y'all going to do something? Never. That's the answer. Never. So since y'all are never going to do anything, I'll take my chances with Trump to where when he was in office for those 4 years, I had more money in my pocket. Sorry, y'all. My blood pressure going up. I cannot believe I just watched Charlamagne the God in this interview for 96% of this interview guide her by the hand. They are never going to give you guys reparations. Like y'all, hey, Nancy Pelosi, like they had the House, they are never going to give you that. Get that out of your head. The Obama phone was the most you was going to get.
about that position. In terms of my immediate plan, I will tell you a few of the following. One, as it relates to the economy, which is a lot of what you have addressed.
Woosah.
Look, I grew up in the middle class. My mother, worked hard, raised me and my sister, and by the time I was in high school, she was able.
Doing it again. She doing it again. Hey, Music Junkies podcast. You're right. I need to calm down. How many times I need to calm. You're right, bro. You're right. Thug life. You're right. Thug life. She doing it again.
To afford our first.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and break the news to you, okay? You're not getting reparations, right? It's not going to happen. Kamala Harris is not giving it to you. Nobody's giving it to you, okay? It's just not going to happen. She grew up in a middle-class family. That's her answer.
Yo, that's what it is. Hey, you want something? This is your answer for it. I grew up in a middle-class family. You ever watch the movie? I think it was the movie Get Out. And you know how to do, it was towards the end of the movie Get Out. And I don't want to spoil it, but, maybe everybody's seen it. Where he's talking and he's trying to get this girl to take him home, to get out of this house with her family. And she's just acting like she doesn't understand. And he's like, we need to go. We need to go. We need to go. And she's acting like she don't hear what he's saying. And he knows something is wrong. But he can't say it because it's the elephant in the room. Something is going down, right? But he's trying to get her, but she was in on it the whole time. This is reminiscent of that, right? Because it's she's with them, the bigwigs. She's with the power elite. She's being controlled and manipulated by her donors, all of that. And so you sitting there asking her to help you. Help me, help me, help us, help us. And you know what she does? I grew up in a middle-class family. This is Get Out. Wait a minute. So the answer for everything that you're going to need in life that they can potentially help you with is a Get Out answer. Here's what it is. She grew up in a middle-class family, and he is picking up on it too.
To be a president for all Americans. That being said, I do have clear eyes about the disparities that exist and the context in which they exist, meaning history, to your point. Going on? So my agenda, well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question about that. And I've been very clear about that position. In terms of my immediate plan, I will tell you a few of the following. One, as it relates to the economy, which is a lot of what you have addressed. Look, I grew up in the middle class. My mother, worked hard, raised me and my sister, and by the time I was in high school, she was able to afford our first.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and break the news to you, okay? You're not getting reparations, right? It's not going to happen. Kamala Harris is not giving it to you. Nobody's giving it to you, okay? It's just not going to happen. She grew up in a middle-class family. That's her answer because she doesn't have an answer, right? What she is promising, though, is $20,000 to start a website and some weed, okay? That's quite literally what's in her plan for black
because
male.
they think, you know, black people, that's all we need is a little bit of weed.
Okay, which, you know, I don't think that's going to happen either. I mean, it's blatantly unconstitutional what she's proposing. So I don't think that you're going to get anything. Okay, and this is why I encourage people to get out of this very low level thinking of what is X politician going to do for me based off my race. Okay,
Sugar Black said she grew up in a middle class family. Hey, Sugar Black, you can't make this up. This is crazy.
It's just
hey,
not
y'all,
a
everybody in the
productive
chat, it's a lot of y'all in here. I got it on subscribers only, just so like it can go slower, you know what I'm saying? And then I can kind of see y'all and everything. But if y'all can, like, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, like, you know, subscribe and then, you know, get into the chat. 10 Bear 1981, he said Trump 2024. Shout out to you. And then Ann said she still smokes it, obviously. Nova Lotus Myers said reparations is lineage based, which means immigrants do not qualify.
Okay.
Vegas Woman 702, what up, Trump voters? And then we got Bars, the podcast says he's like, what are you talking about?
Want to know the black agenda
It
that
does
Trump
not sound like academics.
has? You want to know the black agenda from Trump? Okay, since black people want to talk about what are you going to do for me? No tax on tips, in which you have a lot of black people working these service jobs that rely on tip wages. Okay, like for example, they always want to use the stereotypical black barbershop, right? You know,
also we got to try to get this. Hey, y'all, hey, we lagging behind, y'all. We got to, we trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. He's even got like 864,000. So shout out to him. I got 78,394. We did get about 700 subscribers today. Like, I appreciate that, but we got to climb to 100,000. Y'all got to understand, like, we are going up against, like, this lady did an interview on the Breakfast Club. They got millions of followers. Like, the platforms that she's going on that are super controlled, a lot of fake news, they got millions of subscribers. So we need people who have alternative ways of thinking, you know, than the norm. You know, we need to be having subscribers as well. And that shows the algorithm. That also shows like different, you know, people that want to bring up different influencers and things like that, that, hey, y'all got competition out here. Like, we got to bring up everybody and talk. We got to bring up everybody on the panel. It's not just going to be all blue. And they wanted it like that when they had Facebook was in charge. I think Facebook is largely responsible for, you know, let's name Obama getting elected. That's allegedly, that's just my opinion, thug life. All right. And then you've got Twitter, which was liberal. You got all of these platforms that are super liberal. Even the major ones are heavy contributors to like the Democratic Party, you know, and if you don't play ball, you see what happened to TikTok. They have to force a sale and they put it in a bill. So a lot of things are at risk, which is freedom of speech is at risk. They are attacking it. We've seen plenty of videos of different people attacking freedom of speech. That is an issue. You know what I mean? So we want to make sure we all can, you know, get our opinions out and things like that. So subscribe, follow.
Barbers, hey, tips go a long way for barbers.
Because you can't, hey, if I try to say anything positive for the Republican Party on TikTok, if I do it, they'll probably just take the audio. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even go on there.
A lot of black people working these service jobs that rely on tip wages. Okay, like for example, they always want to use the stereotypical black barbershop, right? You know, barbers, hey, tips go a long way for barbers. Okay, I'm not sure why every barber in America.
Thank you, Richard Bub. He said he subscribed. Shout out to you.
Isn't telling all of their customers, hey, vote for Trump, okay? Because it's going to help me out a lot. Paying less tax.
Robin Mahone said, let's please look into this Canada and Indian situation.
No tax on overtime. You have a lot of black people working jobs where you're eligible for overtime. Closing the border, mass deportations. I think that's a lot, right? That's a whole lot of money being put into black people's pockets, okay? From the Trump agenda, right? Just those few things right there. That's the black agenda right there, which happens to also be the agenda for America. Whatever is best for America is going to be what's best for black people. So what you should...
Let me see. Also, don't hesitate to hit that super chat. Shout out to y'all.
Kamala gave you the best proposal I've ever heard in my life. And when I mean
She said Kamala gave us the best proposal she's ever heard in her life.
Literally mean black men, African American men. Like I'm kind of jealous. Not even gonna hold you, cause if she would have did that for black women, I would have went on ahead and start putting out my notes and lists exactly what I was going to have, how I was going to apply every start date when they drop, just so I can be first in line to apply to every single loan, every single down payment that she put out for a motherfucker. You nigga.
You hear these potty mouth women? You hear them?
And mind you, these type of women, like these super ghetto women, you know, I love the Candace Owenses, you know, the Sugar Blacks, you know what I mean? Certain type of people. But like when you get super ghetto, like they don't even want men. But now they need y'all. So now they want to bully y'all into voting for a woman. Hey, if Kamala Harris had better policies than Trump, I'm all for her. I'll vote off the policies. It just so happens that Republican policies seem to be more in line with what I think. But now you want to come to the table and say, oh, the men, like, wait, if I was, like, get out of here.
These women are trying to convince us to get on code, to get back on the plantation, don't even understand what they're applying for, don't even understand what they pitching, just blind in the dark. Didn't even read the...
I don't need no man type of personality. Only thing he can do with me is buy me a Birkin. Now they need us.
I bet you didn't even realize that it said to black men and others. I bet you didn't read that all 4 of the 5 points was stuff that she had already been promising to everybody else. She just remixed it in order to package it to black men in order to appease y'all, to try to get y'all and incentivize y'all to jump back on a Democratic plantation, where we not necessarily looking for a handout. We just need the federal government to get out of our way, stop taxing us to death, and then allow for us to be able to provide for our families, because we don't want to break the rules. We don't want the rules to apply to us differently. We just want the ability to be able to afford what we've been able to afford in 2016 through 2020. But as usual, you got these hyenas on here, and
yo,
they're telling us and calling us the N-word and MFers in order to try to diminish our...
She seemed like the type of girl that, you know, you have a kid with her, she don't want to be with you no more. I'm going downtown. I'm taking you for child support. I got the you know what I mean? Like the Lyndon Johnson, like I got that. They'll support me with the will. Like she's one of them. But she got the nerve to get on here and try to no, get out of here, girl.
Intelligence to read for
that's why he called you a hyena. Thug life. He said it, not me. She got the hyena here. I mean, it's what it is.
Ourselves and realize that we want somebody that's for everybody in America, and we don't want open borders. We don't want overinflation. We don't.
Y'all like open borders. Y'all like more inflation. Y'all liked when y'all had like a 800 or 750 credit score like years ago, and it just didn't matter because interest rates was too high. Banks didn't even want to give loans out for anything. Businesses were scared to take loans because the interest rates was too high. As a result, the prices of commodities, everything started to rise. And then we seen a video of the congressman that went on The Breakfast Club. I reacted to it in the last video. He breaks down that Kamala Harris casted the vote that in turn ended up causing inflation. He said that. And not only did he said it, he had evidence to back him up. And they didn't like that because they couldn't stop him. Evidence is extreme.
Thriving is our members in your
I would
state.
argue
Black
we're not.
folks in your
I would
state
argue we're not
thriving?
really thriving right now. This inflation, which by the way was brought to us by Kamala Harris, has really slowed down people from being able to excel.
By Kamala?
Yes.
Vice president.
Charlamagne.
It's still the president.
But this is why he was defending her like crazy, because he was trying to get in line to get an interview with her. Oh, that makes sense. I was always like, why is he always in defense of this lady? But watch, she's about to shut them down. This is a congressman. Oh, Charlamagne, Mr. Hip Hop guy. You know more than a congressman. Let's see how this goes.
Charlamagne, listen, man. When Joe Biden wanted to do his American Rescue Plan, Kamala Harris was the tie-breaking vote in the United States Senate. She broke the tie that started this inflation that has hurt so many people in our country. Everybody listening to your show. It's not true?
First of all, it's
you sure you want to go there?
Tie-breaking vote.
You sure you want to go there?
Go outside, Congressman, when you go outside.
You sure you want to go there? Okay, let's go there.
You had it
You got notes. You got notes, Angela, right?
That's fine. I have notes
I'm
too.
gonna give it to
The biggest note I have today
I'm gonna give it to
is
Charlamagne.
that on every question I've asked.
Charlamagne about to be forced to read. Let's see how this happens.
Because Angela, hold on now.
For every infrastructure project in your community,
you can go to
should
third
go
page,
out
just
and
to highlight
thank
a portion.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the Congress that voted for the American Rescue Plan.
Angela,
that's what should be happening.
Larry Summers wrote an op-ed back in 2021. Larry Summers was the Treasury Secretary for Bill Clinton. He was an economic advisor to Barack Obama. He said that the American Rescue Plan that Joe Biden wanted, that Kamala Harris was the tie-breaking vote in the United States Senate, would create a massive inflation that we have not seen in a generation. Well, guess what? Larry Summers was correct. You know who also was correct, Angela? I was, because I was in the budget committee when they brought the bill. And I said in that committee, it's going to cause massive inflation. That's what happened. So the problem we have in our economy today is that prices have gone up massively. Wages adjusted for inflation is down. People's pocketbooks are hurting. But we have a presidential election in 40 days. So, and I'm gonna ask Envy this question. Envy, you
Angela Rye, like, what's all that yapping? Like, are you gonna do some more yapping? Because I want to hear you contest this.
You're in the housing business as well. I know because I watch.
Figure out how
I listen to the show.
Interviewed.
No, I'm just asking them a question. Chill, Angela. So
she had nothing to say about that. Her thing is, I just want to know why Envy is being interviewed. Like, you don't have a response to anything this congressman said because he checked you. Dog life. You ain't had nothing to say. When that paper came out, Charlamagne ain't got nothing to say. Cause he reading it and now he know, oh man, he got me. Angela Liberal. What you gonna say now, ma'am?
I listen to the show. I know you do a lot of business in housing. Mm-hmm. Would you hire somebody that broke up stuff in one of your houses to fix the other houses?
No.
Exactly. She broke the economy.
I'm not going to do this morning.
She said, I'm not going to do this morning. You can't.
Law enforcement has about 40 million.
He was smoking them, bro.
Dogs and cats. You still stand by them and what they believe in? If you do, why?
Well, a couple things. First,
you were given a second chance, like we should have, like you should have been. But why do you still stand by them if you do?
Well, I think you also got to acknowledge that when he was president, he also did the First Step Act, which undid a lot of the issues with the '94 crime bill that a lot of politicians, including the current president, were for. He undid that when he was president of the United States. I think second chances are important in society. I think everybody's afforded them. You know, what happened with the Central Park Five, I was probably 6th, 7th grade, 8th grade when that was going down in New York.
Yep.
I can't really speak to that, but what I also...
It was all over the paper.
I know. It was everywhere. You couldn't escape it.
We're around the same age, so we seen it everywhere.
You couldn't escape it. But what I would also add is that in 2000, Donald Trump was a member of the Reform Party. Most people don't talk about this. He was a member of the Reform Party.
Wait, he was a member of the Reform Party and they don't talk about that? Wow. Richard Bubb, he said her attitude, what the F? Bro, this is how these liberals be. This is how they be. and they want to like tell men what to do and what to think. And if you don't agree with them, they get mad. They get very mad. They get angry.
Want economic policies that don't.
Yeah, I've been giving nonstop content. Shout out to y'all. If y'all can't hit the Cash App sign Piperboy Williams or the super chat, you know what I mean? I can very well just upload videos and be good, like entertainment, but I'm trying to do this because we have an election coming up and we need to see alternative perspectives on what's going on. Me being an African-American male, which I don't even want to say African-American, I'm a black male in America. I ain't never been to Africa. Thug life. I am a black male in America that has a different way of thinking about this, right? And I think some people think like me, but they're pressured and they're bullied into a position of feeling a certain way or thinking a certain way, because if they don't, they're going to be bullied. They're either going to be bullied in school, they're going to be bullied in the hood, they're going to be bullied like whatever the culture is. And I've experienced it, right? Like with me going ahead and taking, going out on a limb and talking about politics, the people that I talk to on my YouTube channel, I had like 67,000 subscribers. Like, what was it, last week? On my channel, like the people that I talk to, a lot of them do not like that I'm talking about this. I'm getting a lot of people complaining, oh, Piperboy Williams, like, go back and talk about entertainment, go back and talk about... Like, no, I have to talk about this. Oh, well, you whack, like you suck. Like, I'm gonna do a blog on you. I'm gonna talk about you. And you know what I mean? All kind of craziness. Because they want to be able to control my opinion. But at the end of the day, they cannot stop me when I get into that building to cast my ballot. And I feel like, and we get people in here that, and I get it. If you blue, you blue. Like, be blue. It's fine. I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to tell you, what to do. I got the megaphone on my channel, right? So I could talk. I feel like if I talk, I can bring somebody who may been thinking about voting, but scared, you know what I mean? Because they don't really believe in Kamala and they want to go the other way, but they may be scared. I want them to know it's okay. Other people, like, shout out to Big Wave Dave 82. He's a big contributor on the channel. Like, it's okay. You don't have to be bullied into submission. Somebody said, oh, well, what is us hitting a like button or hitting the heart button? What is that going to do? It's going to do a lot. If you don't look at the channel, there's like multiple videos, over 100,000 views as of recent, talking about this particular situation because we're fighting through the algorithm. I got to fight through J. Cole, Drake, like, his song, Big. I got to fight through the Drake, the Kendrick Lamar, the Cardi B, the Nicki Minaj, all these major stars. We got to fight through all of this news going on, the Diddy news, all of that. I could talk about it, and I've shown you, I could talk about Diddy and get 60, 70,000 views, 50,000 views. I could do the same thing. You know what I mean? But I think this is important because I'm thinking about years down the road. You know what I mean? Like, how am I going to feel years down the road? Am I going to feel like the world has changed for the better? Or am I going to feel like we're still in the same situation? I just got some eggnog from the market. I left here and went and got some eggnog and some Chick-fil-A. Right? I love eggnog. Thug life. It is what it is. Pause. Whatever you want to say. It's eggnog. $7.99 at the grocery store. The cost of groceries are ridiculous. And this lady is doing guided interviews with Charlamagne the God. Let something go wrong with your car and have to buy a car. You don't care about interest rates right now. Wait till something happens. Let you try to buy a house. We had somebody in here said he closed on a house. I think he said like 7 months ago in the comments. He said he had a 7% interest rate on his house. I don't know his situation. I don't know his credit. I don't know all of that. That's high. I bought my house under Trump. It was 4.25 interest rate. I thought about refinancing when it dropped, but then I was already, you know what I mean, in my house a little bit. So I'm like, nah, I kind of don't want to like refinance because it starts the whole, I can't even say that because I'm not supposed to wake people up on what's going on fiscally. I'm supposed to just entertain and distract and distract and distract. But it wasn't smart to refinance because it starts everything over again in life. You got so much time that you're going to be here. That's it. It's kind of a finite time. If you're lucky, you might live to be 100. If you're super lucky, you might be 105. But in all reality, when you hit 60, you know what I mean? I'm 40 and I'm starting to hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I can just imagine when I'm 60, I don't have the time or the luxury to start over again. So yeah, I'm at the 4.25% interest rate. But I do want another house, right? I want to rent this house out, maybe get another one. But I tried to get another house and I'm fighting against companies because companies were hurting during the pandemic that were buying buildings and, you know, renting office space. They decided to no longer take hits like that and they moved towards commercial real estate. Not commercial, but buying up real estate, you know, buying homes up. That's what a lot of these companies are doing now. So when you go in to buy a house, especially in Nashville, this is going on. So if you go to buy a house, you might like it, you might view the house and you might see a couple things wrong and you might tell the realtor, hey, can you just like tell them, you know, if they take a little bit off of this, or if you tell them like if they can just tell you how much this was and if this is still under warranty and all. People don't want to deal with that. The sellers don't want to deal with that. They got a company coming in willing to pay them whatever. They don't have to do any type of negotiations. The deal is done. Company comes in, they tear the house down and they build up a brand new house, 2 of them. They're trying to offer me almost double what I pay for my house right now. It's a company. They are trying to make us all renters. That is the unsaid thing that's happening. So in the midst of all of this going on, you got a flood of immigrants coming into America. You come in here legally, I have no problem, no issue. Welcome to America, right? When you come here illegally and they're flooding in here, they're going into a condensed area. If you are a realtor, or I'm sorry, a homeowner, a landlord, and you got a lot of people that need housing and there's a finite number of houses, you can now jack the rent up. You're going to do that. Or if everybody's coming in, they trying to buy a house, what you can do? Oh man, I could sell this house for $450. Let me try to just put it on the market for $525. And now people who thought about buying a house can no longer afford them. That's a lot of things going on. A lot.
Benefit you that then would at the very least make prices go up more than double of what we've experienced now. We have
and then Richard Bubb said rent is so high up here in New York. Hey, Richard Bubb, a lot of people are moving to Nashville, Tennessee from New York. And like California from New York. And share the live, hit the like button. You know what a lot of people are telling me, bro? They're telling me that the taxes was too high. They say they're barely scraping by, like living. Even people in New Jersey like complaining. And I know it's less expensive than New York. But, you know, some of them may have to work in New York for whatever reason. Now they got to pay to like cross that George Washington Bridge. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and then they may be driving and you got to pay exorbitant prices just to park your car, just to work. It's just like, it's so much. And then they charging y'all all this money in taxes. And when I went to New York, and this is no disrespect to New York, Big Apple, I love New York, iconic place, right? The roads need a lot of rehab. What are they doing with all of this money? Eric Adams, you see, like, what's the governor like really trying to do? I'm just curious. Like, where's that money going? Like, I went there, like, bro, and I brought a car. It was like not the smart thing to do, having a car in New York. The amount of money just to park that thing was ridiculous. Somebody said my rent for a 2-bedroom, 1 bath is $1,800 for 600 square feet. And this happens in blue states.
Record to go off of what happened over the last 3.5 years, and when she went on the View and she said she wouldn't do anything differently than what Biden did. And so when I see these people out here calling us out of our name and trying to have a conversation with us at the first place, which they're not, they're just scolding us, it disappoints me because it helps me to realize how ignorant being on code is, and it pushes us further away from the Democratic plantation than we already are.
Who trying to like be down with it?
Can't incentivize us with trees. You're not going to sit here and give us loans and weed and think that that's going to be enough to be able to win our vote. We not stupid. We not dumb. We woke up. Our eyes is open. And so we not Cyrus from the Matrix where he gets plugged back in and he says, and he eating his fake steak. And we not going to sell our future out like Clinton did, like Obama did, like Bush II did. We not going to sell out our future in order to mortgage our current to try to do something just because you told us to, and you ignorant as hell. You don't even know how to communicate with us respectfully. And you call, that's the first thing that you say is you N-words? Miss me with that. But, you know, I always like to give credit to content creators, so I'm going to always link back in the description for y'all to be able to reach out to them and give them the credit that they deserve, or even follow them on the respective platforms that y'all sent me these videos, okay? So that's number one. Number two, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description.
They finally admit black women are not falling for the chameleon either. What? Y'all be killing me with these thumbnails, bro. Look. Look, they got her face like that. She like mad. And look at Kamala like, whoop.
What's going on is the polls are coming in and they're realizing that they may very well lose this election. About grocery prices, at least, Liz, they've gone from talking about gouging to now saying, I guess, the grocery clerks that are putting the
shout out to Sugar Black. Subscribe to the channel if y'all can.
Prices they are somehow.
It's right there. It's plain and simple. It's right in view. Subscribe.
Putting the wrong prices and they're misleading you. Regarding Obama, I think it's pretty cheeky. Obama said the brothers are the problem, meaning the black men who are increasingly voting for Donald Trump. I guess he has that conversation, Liz, with the brothers in Martha's Vineyard when he hangs out at the barbershop and talks about what's going on in the real world.
All right, so
this is a guy who grew up in Hawaii.
Yeah,
his father got an economics degree. His father got an econ degree from Harvard. His mother
people don't like your Larry Elder, but sometimes he be spitting facts.
Had a PhD, raised by his upper middle class white grandparents in Hawaii, and he's lecturing the brothers on how they got to think about life. 20% higher grocery store prices between now and 2.5 years ago.
$7.99 for eggnog. This is insane.
The question is real simple. Are you better off now than you were 2.5 or 3 years ago? And the answer is not unless you're an illegal alien. You're not.
But when you look at the facts, Larry, it's like Obama rhetoric, right?
Look at that. Hey, have y'all been to like a CVS or a Walgreens lately? Just go in there and like need shampoo or lotion. Look at $17. Like, you like, what? This is crazy. I would be scared to have a kid, like a new kid in America, bruh. And then she offered, we're hoping to get you guys like the first year of having a kid, a tax break, but then after that you're on your own. Like, in America, it is crazy expensive. And because it's so expensive for everything else, and you can't blame the people who are doing childcare. You know what I mean? Like, they have to make ends meet themselves. So they raise their prices. And then before you know it, it's just everybody's price gouging each other. And it's like, man, like, I feel so bad. Like, if you're not in a good financial space and you're having a child, good luck.
Obama smearing, just coming out there with no facts.
The Rudis Jones says, I went grocery shopping for me and my boyfriend, and we spent about $600. Grocery shopping is becoming the old rent. That's the reality of it. That is the simple reality of what's going on. And you know who's like gonna keep quiet about it? The CEOs of these companies. They ain't gonna say nothing. They getting record profits. And I guarantee you probably in 5 to 10 years, there's going to be like oversight committees and they're going to end up pulling these people up and giving them a verbal lashing for having hundreds of millions of dollars in profit. Meanwhile, they're doing nothing now.
No policy fixes.
And the thing I loved about when I was over there in Europe and London, I went to Switzerland. You see how they got non-GMO? You got to pay extra $6.19 for eggs. There, it's just everything's cheaper. At least where I was in Switzerland. And I heard Switzerland, Geneva, Switzerland is like one of the most expensive cities like in the world. But eggs was a lot cheaper. Their food, you don't have to like, you want apples, you don't have to say, oh, I want to get organic. They just don't be putting all that crap on their food. That's why they don't have all these CANCER centers like everywhere like we do in America. Yeah, that FDA is really looking out for us, huh?
He claimed that Trump inherited his good economy when Trump inherited a 1.6%, 9% GDP growth from Obama. So, when you see like the bloviating political flannel rhetoric and the facts, Larry, how do black voters take it? How do black voters on the street take it?
Well, the same way any voter takes it, they feel insulted. They can see what the prices are. Kamala Harris has no plan. She said that she couldn't think of any major issue or even minor issue where she disagreed with Joe Biden. And if you're part of the 2/3 of Americans who believe we're on the wrong track, and you hear the leader who put us on the wrong track say that I wouldn't do anything any differently, what makes you think the person who put you on the wrong track is going to put you on the right track? And at least, I guess she's downgraded now. She used to say, well, I'm from the middle class. Now she says from the working class. Next thing you know, she's going to say she was from the ghetto on food stamps. So she keeps moving the goalposts.
Hey, black people out there, like, yeah, hey, you know how we were always like taught to not like Larry Elder? How does it feel now knowing that he's been spitting facts this whole time and we just been being duped by the illuminated ones making us pay attention to certain type of things? And now we realize he's actually on your side the whole time. He's on the side of Americans the whole time. But we believe the rhetoric. Entertainers. It's just so eye-opening. That's why I want people to subscribe to the channel so they can get... Bro, I used to be taught, like, oh, don't like Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh was terrible. He's terrible, Rush Limbaugh. Man, something told me, like, I think it was like 7 or 8 days ago. I went and somehow his name like popped up in my mind. I'm like, yo, the dude, I remember a dude did podcasting on like Republicans, and I think it was Rush Limbaugh. He had like a gold microphone or whatever. I did some research on him and seen what he was really fighting for. I mean, I didn't like the college comments he made about the girl called her the H word, you know what I mean? But a lot of what he did was actually admirable in some respects. And I'm like, man, like this dude was really going in for the Constitution. But all my life I was taught like people like that, like, oh, don't listen to him. And you know what got me, like, when Candace Owens started talking, I'm like, who is this? I mean, she beautiful. Thug life. It is what it is. But I wanted to know, like, yo, what is she about? She's going at Cardi B like, what is this? And I'm getting ready. You know what I mean? I got the Twitter figures. I'm about to go in on Candace Owens. I'm like, who she thinks she is? Like, thug life. Like, but then, like, I'm like, yo, like, she's speaking my language. I don't know, man. I feel like we've been duped.
Listen,
yeah, Candace is fire. She definitely is. All right, Fox News, shout out to y'all. Charlamagne the God grills Kamala Harris on repetition.
Kamala Harris sitting down for a town hall with Charlamagne the God. When pressed on if she supports reparations, she sidestepped and says it needs to be studied. Harris also defending her constant repetitive answers. Listen to this.
But what do you say to people who say you stay on the talking points?
Joining me now is... I would say you're welcome. I mean, listen, here's the thing. So repetition is important. And for that reason, yes, at my rallies, I say the same thing when I go to Detroit as I do in Philly, as I do wherever I am, to make sure that people hear and receive what I think are some of the most critical issues that are at stake in this election.
How is that answer, Dana?
Well, I'm just thinking, like, what is going to happen if somebody says they're against reparations? I mean, because I actually don't know what she really thinks. Telling somebody that it needs to be studied means that you don't want to answer the question.
Talk to him. Talk to her, thug life. I like her, bruh. Kamala is a robot. I like her. She is keeping, like, you see what I'm saying? Hey, black people that's watching now. This is, hey, they actually been trying to, like, show y'all what's been going on for years. Look past the rhetoric.
That's what they always do. That's like, let's just study it some more. Like, you know what you actually think. You just don't want to say it because you're afraid. Why are you so afraid to just answer the question?
And Janine, she said she repeats everything over and over again because she needs to drill it through the dumb public's head.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
She understood the question, because the question was, why do you repeat things often? And her answer was, repetition is important, whether I'm in Detroit or Philly or, quote, wherever I am. I think she took it to mean she gives the same speech in Detroit that she gives in Philly, that she gives wherever I am. It's not even sinking in her head that she repeats herself over and over in the same speech, because the answer to that would have to be, because I think that the American population is stupid.
Harold Ford Jr.
It's a practice in politics. When you get tired as a candidate of saying something, that means the public may have heard it once or twice. So I get her. I understand.
Yeah.
I think I understand what she's saying there, and I think I understand what you're saying. You're saying that she repeats herself in her speeches, and she would argue, I do it because of that reason. President Trump does it. President Obama did it. President Bush did it. President Biden did it. President Clinton did it. It's a feature of politics. This notion, I want to just push back a little bit. The notion that she is somehow another difficult on African-American men, and that somehow another, I've heard a couple of theories that African-American men who are not voting for her might be sexist. I don't think that's the case. That African-American men think that she locked up too many criminals, as if African-American men want criminals out of jail. That's silly. I love her record as a prosecutor. I love her record.
Who is this dude? I love her record as a prosecutor. Who is he? Can somebody tell me who this is? Because he's completely off base here. He said all politicians do it. Y'all reach it. Like, who is this? He got somebody in his ear controlling him to say robot things. He's trying to push the fake narrative. Why is he on Fox News trying to push fake news? Bro, you on the wrong platform. You need to be on CNN if you want to push that fake news, bro.
Not only is a prosecutor locking up people who committed crimes in America, but people who try to commit crimes coming into the country.
Did she ever first see a criminal case in a courtroom?
I don't know the answer there.
So how do you know what?
Yo, I've been live for like, what is this? Almost an hour. Y'all haven't hit it. Subscribe, Thug Life. Thank y'all for hitting the 100s. I see that all going through the chat. You know what I'm saying? Hit the hearts, the 100s, all of that, man. I appreciate that.
It is.
And we got 25,000 views. Shout out to y'all. So y'all been hitting it. We kind of low key breaking through the algorithm a little bit. I can't do it without y'all. Y'all doing it. You know what I mean? Subscriptions also, please subscribe. It's free. Hit it. Thug Life.
Well, you just said that she locked up in your own opening, you said she locked up 2,000 men, didn't you?
That was in That was in what she is saying, and that what her detractors are saying. I'm saying you like her record.
But if she locked up 2,000 bucks,
that's a question by Charlamagne the God.
No, you said that in your first.
My question to you is, if she's such a great prosecutor, why did she never first seed a criminal case?
I'm only going on what you said. She locked up I'm talking about black men are saying now. If you want to talk
black
about
men are saying she locked up.
Black men are. What are you, bro? Are you out of what? Nah, let me up there. Let me up there right now. He don't know who he's talking to. He don't know what it is. Y'all need somebody up there with some vigor to talk reckless to these people that go up there and just talk out of their mind.
I agree.
Shout out to Cali-ism.
I'm hearing that you guys are in complete agreement. Greg, you had Charlamagne the God on your show. Yep. How do you think he's going to do with this interview? It's feeding in right now.
Well, I think he learned a lot from doing my show. He observed an expert at this. I'm going to just finish my thought that, like, for a guy, voting for Kamala is like getting a massage from a dude.
And that is not acceptable.
It is not.
He said for a guy voting for Kamala is like getting a massage from a dude. This dude is wildin', bro.
Unacceptable. You brought up when they say about reparations, it needs to be studied.
Shout out to Donna Hojos. And then John Lindler said his name is Harold Ford. He's a politician from Tennessee. Watch him, TM, subscribe. Shout out to you.
That's all they want. The activists just want the gravy train to themselves so they can have conferences, paid for lunches, maybe a business class flight to Austin, Texas. It's great in the springtime. We could have a conference there. It's basically, this is what Newsom did in California. All you do is just keep kicking that can down the road, because while you're kicking it, you're also paying people who are on the committee. We're on the committee to assess reparations. But if it happens, and if it happens in your state, you got to move. You just have to move, because you know what? You shouldn't be paying for somebody else's deeds.
Hold on, let me see if they got Rito on here. Hold on.
Kamala Harris has done it again. Yes, she's repeated her cringiest talking point again and comment
Hold on.
from callers, with the event also simulcast on CNN. But
I gotta get
There's no
past the
question
music.
about that. And I've been very clear about that position. In terms of my immediate...
Hold on, I want to see Rita, man. Rita, my girl, bro.
Joining me now is Newsweek senior editor-at-large Josh Hammer. Josh, let's have a listen to the Harris campaign's latest strategy, and it's out there. Apparently, the Republicans are hiding Donald Trump.
Here's the thing. It makes you wonder. Why does his staff want him to hide away? One must question. Are they afraid that people will see that he is too weak and unstable?
Oh, yes, one must wonder, Josh. One must wonder. It's such a bizarre line. I don't know if it's going to work with the undecided voters, but it's hard to think of a candidate that's more out there than Donald Trump. He's everywhere. He's on every podcast. He's doing every interview. He's doing press conferences at take.
I mean, he's everywhere. Like, he's doing everything. So I guess that means he's hiding. These lefties are losing it, yo.
Way shops, like he's just questioned and talking every day.
Yeah, I believe that this is what psychiatrists call projection. You know, I didn't study psychiatry in law school or in grad school or whatever, but I mean, this is a clear and obvious case of psychiatric or psychological projection. Is not. Kamala Harris is the one who only recently started to change her media strategy a little bit. But by the way, don't call it a media blitz, because she's just doing left-wing echo chamber interviews. Although, albeit this week, she's changing a little bit. She actually just announced she's doing a sit-down interview with Brett Baer of Fox News. Apparently, the latest scuttlebutt is that she's also considering a potentially 3-hour-long sit-down with Joe Rogan, the very popular Austin, Texas-based podcaster.
I will say, Joe Rogan, I think, is going to be midline. Like, I don't think he's going to get up there and really press her. You know what I mean? Because he don't want to lose what he's got going on, and they'll come after him. So I think he'll be midline with it.
Can't imagine how bad her internal polling is that she's agreeing to a sit-down interview with Brett Baer of Fox News and potentially 3 hours.
Bro, her polling is so screwed up. Like the Young Turks is coming out saying that she's losing.
Plus, if we actually,
I think she's got a slight lead in PA right now.
It's full 3 hours,
but overall she's losing.
With Joe Rogan, Kamala Harris is not in good shape. I mean, this has all of the indications of a campaign that is currently going down the toilet. She is losing momentum at the exact worst time possible. All of the polling is shifting Donald Trump's way right now. She peaked a little bit too early. They had that bump after the coup of Joe Biden leading up to the DNC in Chicago.
You said what, Rogan, from aliens to fake press?
But by the time August turned to September, she had the debate. It went fine, I guess. But by mid to late September at the latest, it was basically over for her. And look, I don't want to prematurely call it. I'm not saying the election's over, but she had reached her peak. She had reached her peak in polling at this point. Now she's just flailing. So she was in Erie, Pennsylvania. I think that clip we just saw, if I'm not mistaken, was in Erie, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the #1 battleground state this cycle. Bob Casey, who was the vulnerable senator running for re-election in Pennsylvania, did not even appear with Kamala Harris at that rally in Erie, Pennsylvania, because he knows that she was political poison in that state.
That is not a good sign, and I would be shocked if she does Rogan. And if she does Rogan, you're right, her internal polling must be absolutely circling the drain, because that is dangerous for her, to sit down with someone like him who's not going to be just giving her softball questions. He's going to actually hold her to account.
I hope he does, but I don't know. Joe Rogan, he be slipping sometimes, y'all. Shout out to him, though. Joy Reid crashes and burns after Trump surges in the polls.
Trump and Republicans backed by far right-wing billionaires like Elon Musk.
Fake news. MSNBC, fake news. After reporters' publication of hacked Trump campaign information last month, the campaign connected with X to prevent the circulation of links to the material of the platform. According to two people with knowledge of the event, X eventually blocked links to the material and suspended the reporter's account. Musk is going all in to elect Trump by Theodore Schleifer, Maggie Haberman, Ryan Mack, and Jonathan Swan. New York Times, super liberal. Let's see how they going in on Donald Trump and Elon
Musk and right-wing media and anti-woman manosphere podcasts are creating social media or gaming.
Manosphere podcast? Oh, Lord. She ain't got nothing to say about The View. Manosphere podcast? Are you serious?
Social media apps like X Twitter in Trump's favor and pumping disinformation into the brains of Trump supporters. Not quite foreign interference, but
and for y'all, like, I want to play the whole the interview Charlamagne the God did with Kamala Harris, but they ended up doing it through iHeartRadio. So guess what that means? Even though it's on the Breakfast Club, it's through iHeart. There's a high probability if I play that, it'll get stopped. And the video will go down. So we got to wait a while. I got to figure out what's going on, you know?
Not exactly different from what Vladimir Putin would do.
So Joy Reid from MSDNC is at it again with her out of this world delusional takes about the way that Trump is running his campaign, but they're so out of touch with reality. I kind of find it to be an excuse so when Kamala Harris loses, they'll be able to run with this type of talking point. So before we go any further, let me play you the first part of this segment. Watch this.
At this point, you can't call what Trump is running a campaign. As friend of the show David Corn points out in Mother Jones, what Trump and J.D. Vance and House and Senate Republicans are running is a massive disinformation campaign aimed at warping Americans' reality. And they're doing it with violent, terrifying, and sometimes bizarre conspiracy theories that set the table for maybe armed resistance to a Kamala Harris win or mass acceptance of American fascism.
She got the same hairstyle as that other lady that was trying to, like, shame us. Hit the subscribe button. What is y'all doing? It's a lot of people, 30,000 views. Where is the subscribe? Like, hit it. I said hit the button. Dog life, hit the button. Touch it. It's right there. Touch it. Go ahead. It's right there. Touch it. Subscribe. We are on a subscriber climb. I took 4 days off work. I'm going here on YouTube. Thug Life. I go back tomorrow. It is what it is. But I'm trying to drop a video every day. I'm trying to talk about this every day leading up to the election. We got to get this channel up to 100,000 subscribers. There are people that need to hear a different point of view. Thug Life. Shout out to Elizabeth Turner. Shout out to Donna again.
Trump and Republicans.
Subscribers.
Backed by far right-wing billionaires like Elon Musk, and right-wing media and anti-woman manosphere podcasts are creating social media or gaming social media apps like X, Twitter.
Jay Nicole said, at this rate, you're definitely going to hit 100K before the year's out. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. I want to hit it before then. Like, what y'all doing, Thug Life? We need to hit it before then. No, but yeah, definitely. Like, YouTube's been like trying to help me out, man. Shout out to them.
Twitter in Trump's favor and pumping disinformation into the brains of Trump supporters. Not quite foreign interference, but not exactly different from what Vladimir Putin would do. And in many ways, the disinformation campaign is working.
Shout out to Modern History Man said I subbed.
Base Republicans today believe everything.
Hey, in the chat, are y'all doing early voting or no?
From Democrats secretly manipulating the weather from a secret base in Alaska to Trump being incapable of losing this election.
Donna, yeah, I'm in Nashville.
He's winning in a landslide. And some Democrats are starting to believe the disinformation too.
So obviously Trump's campaign strategy is not disinformation, okay? What it shows you is that his campaign has been very effective at highlighting the actual issues that Americans are experiencing instead of this fairy tale joy messaging and Trump is all bad that we hear from the Kamala Harris campaign. There's a difference in the messaging. Her messaging is all about his character. His messaging is all about you. So, yeah, Joy Reid, you're wrong on that one, of course. The second thing is most people who are Republican or conservative or who support former President Trump, it's not that they are obsessed with conspiracy theories. The problem is one of the biggest conspiracy theories that you guys said it was, which was COVID, ended up to be true. When Trump said that it was from China, you guys called them racist and said that was misinformation, disinformation. When people told you that kids don't need the vaccine,
shout out to D Cole 718.
Called it misinformation, disinformation, and a conspiracy theory, right? When we talked about the Hunter Biden laptop story, you guys called that a conspiracy theory as well. Now we find out 4 years later that all of that was true. So is it that Trump supporters are obsessed with conspiracy theories, or is it that you guys failed to do your job as the media to run the actual facts instead of pushing propaganda talking points as if you guys are an activist organization? And of course, Democrats enjoy the benefits of being funded by countless billionaires. Do we need to bring up George Soros as an example? So finally, the one famous billionaire, Elon Musk, who decides to support Trump and also owns a social media platform. Now you guys are crying foul. I find that to be so interesting. Didn't Mark Zuckerberg fund the Joe Biden campaign? Haven't so many other corporations, billionaires, and other media personalities and Hollywood celebrities all fund the current campaign? So should we call them out too?
Sugar Black says she's going to cast her vote. Brian Lewis said Trump was right 100% of the time. The CDL team said, I lost everything since these people arrived. Wow. Jason Wixell said real life. Donna said Lindbergh here would love to volunteer to help and working to help you guys be seen. Hey, that would be appreciated. Elizabeth Turner said, no early voting. Don't open your ballot. Go and vote in person. Watch the Roseanne Barr on voting. You're right. You're right. I'm going to the polls. You're right. We need to go to the polls. We need to bring people to the polls. You're actually right. Because I seen, I can't say anything even about it. It's on Rumble. Somebody did some extensive research in that particular department. You know what I mean? Of what's going on, like when you mail things in to certain, I can't say it on YouTube. You know what I mean? But at Rumble, hey, it's a problem. So we do need to like go in there. We do need to go in there.
For what they're doing and their misinformation and their lies. I mean, why is it that they accuse someone of the most egregious actions just because they disagree with them politically? I find that to be insane. And if anything, what Elon Musk has been able to accomplish is once again being overlooked by.
And then another thing, like, how are we even mad at Elon Musk about anything, right? If you want to be mad at him about his companies, however he's running his companies, his cars, I got 2 Teslas, you know what I'm saying? I got problems with Elon Musk for that, but because I had some problems with him, you know what I mean? So, you know, and a lot of them got sorted out, right? This guy is fighting for your freedom of speech when your own government's not. So we have people that don't want you to have freedom of speech because they're saying that it's a problem. It's an issue. And then you got somebody that's fighting in support of your freedom of speech. Why do we not like Elon Musk again? He's letting us know, because I never would have known what was going on with the what was it, the voter ID thing, until Elon says something about it. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know why everybody hates him, but then you got people like this saying this.
If the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's
Elon Musk got tired of that happening. He got tired of like Republicans being suspended on Twitter. He got tired of that. He got tired if you had an alternative opinion, you got silenced. But if the fake news, CNN, right? Why didn't they press her on that? Like, what do you mean? Like, you want censorship?
if the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
Unreal, guys.
The way Kamala the cause.
Unreal.
This Democratic Party, they don't treat him with the respect he truly deserves. His accomplishments in this day and age are second to none, and it's only in the history books, when it's all said and done, people will look back and recognize him for the greatness that he is. So I guess the next idea that's on the chopping block when it comes to their excuses on why she's going to lose this election is she's making the case that these polls are now being manipulated to favor Trump. I know. How does that make sense? Take a look at this clip.
Have you noticed how sharply the polls have shifted in Trump's favor over the last couple weeks? With these claims that Trump is surging with Black and Latino voters and leading in every single swing state, according to secret internal polls, despite...
Before we watch this, man, like, it's stuff like this, bro. This is ridiculous. She is so not smart. Kamala Harris said X needs to be taken down because there's no oversight or regulation on what's being posted. Really, lady? You continually post about Trump and Project 2025 knowing it's misinformation. Listen to what Kamala Harris says. Fake news won't talk about this.
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation. And that.
All the Hitler talk? Yes. this race will be far too close. Because unfortunately, we do have a fascist groundswell in parts of this country, mainly among white men, let's be clear, but in small pockets among black and brown men too. This happens to be a global phenomenon as women become more economically independent.
She got to be reading a teleprompter. You think we're fascists because we don't want to vote for Kamala? This has got to be a teleprompter. This lady cannot be thinking this. Yeah, watch him. TM said it's called freedom of speech.
And seek positions of power. But friend of the show, Simon Rosenberg, points out that just like in 2020 and 2022, dozens of right-wing polls have been dumped into the marketplace in the last few weeks, 12 in Pennsylvania alone. Those polls then swing the polling averages to the right, making Trump look strong and Kamala Harris look stalled. Now, there are lots of explanations for why you'd want to game the polls. Entrepreneurial Republican pollsters can certainly gain favor with Trump, who's apparently fuming about Vice President Harris's billion-dollar fundraising and positive press. And then there's the more sinister explanation that if Trump, Republican pollsters, and even jittery Democrats convince enough people that his victory is inevitable, how much easier would it be to claim that the election was stolen if he loses? And how much easier would it be?
This lady is out of her mind. Lefties are losing it. Speaking of lefties are losing it, let's get back to Rita, my girl with Sky News Australia. Let's listen to what she got to say. Oh, she's got the video of Kamala Harris drinking a Miller Lite. Wow, people in North Carolina are going through a crisis. She is laughing and drinking. Let's listen to this.
Now it's time for lefties losing it. And you may have heard about the White Dudes for Kamala group. They're typically described as weak, COVID-crazy soy boy losers, but that sort of characterization is deeply unfair. Just look at this strapping young man charging like a buck-wild bull at a Trump supporter.
Lefties are losing it, y'all. They are. Hey, Donna said, so love this show. I love Rita, man. Like, I love her.
You can tell which ones are Kamala fans. They're the ones wearing masks outdoors in 2024. And they're the ones screaming.
Yo, she is wildin'. Yo, they're the ones wearing the mask in 2024 outdoors. Yo, this is hilarious, bro. She be clipping them. She be like real quick with it.
You can tell which ones are Kamala fans. They're the ones wearing masks outdoors in 2024. And they're the ones screaming abuse and threats.
You were talking about my boy. You were talking my boy. I will slap the goddamn taste out of you.
This kind of reminds me of this angry lady. Let me show y'all an angry lefty that's losing it. Because they have this thing. They think that, you know what? I'll show y'all this video. This is kind of ridiculous. I'm surprised she didn't catch this video. This lefty losing it. I think she's coming up in just a minute.
The ones who support him are suburban, rural, and probably not that well educated.
You mean like those people over there?
Yep.
Okay. What made you come to the conclusion to kind of categorize people like that based on their political leanings?
I watch the news.
Do you honestly think that most of his supporters are racist or prejudiced?
Yes,
okay.
I
Would
do.
you be willing to go over and talk to one right now and maybe see if we can bridge a divide and maybe talk?
Absolutely not. I haven't got time for them. I don't have time for them.
You wouldn't be willing just to hear their side and maybe prove you wrong so you can have a different outlook on a majority of the country?
No.
So right behind us there are, I think they said...
No, she didn't. Let me show you what a Republican looks like.
Definitely. Are you from Aurora? Are you a resident?
45 minutes away from here. Yes, I live here.
Now, what has Colorado been like under the Biden-Harris regime?
Horrible. Actually worse than it was before because we have a very democratic leadership. You know, it's interesting because I went to the University of Aurora, like the local college, and I ended up getting 2 college students registered to vote. One of them was 17. The other one was about to turn 18. They're both 18 now. And the point is, Trump is surging here. And the reason he came here isn't just because, he needs votes. He really can't win this state.
Super calm. He even goes as far as to say, I'm trying to get other people to bring them to the polls. And like, very nice guy.
He came here to offer the people hope. And I went to the area where these apartments are being rampaged by Venezuelan migrant gangsters that Kamala Harris allowed here. And a lot of those people in that area are just fed up. And a lot of
Vance is
voting Democrat for a very long time. So what am I supposed to be looking at, the camera or you?
Shout out to him. These lefties are losing it out here.
Joe Biden, Joe President. No violence, no violence, no violence, no violence. I feel that way. No violence. Let me tell you something, you boring.
Why are these lefties so mad? Why is she so upset? Exactly. Omar Cox in here. Shout out to you. He said, he says she just watches the news. That's where she gets all her information. I see y'all hitting the smiley face. Shout out to y'all. She gets all her news from the fake news, the CNN fake news.
She seems nice. If she doesn't want her boy manhandled, then perhaps tell him not to attack folks. Pretty simple, I would have thought. Now, CNN might be chock full.
She be clipping them. She said, yo, listen to her.
She seems nice. If she doesn't want her boy manhandled, then perhaps tell him not to attack folks. Pretty simple, I would have thought. Now, CNN might be chock full of lefties losing it, but sometimes they have a lone conservative up against the crazy libs, and often that lone conservative is Scott Jennings, and God bless him, he just keeps recording W's.
This is what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz believes, is that it's none of your business what women do with their body, and so stay out of our doctor's offices and stay out of our bed.
Well, I guess I'll have to speak up for the babies. They're not here to speak for themselves. Lord have mercy.
Now, Kamala.
Woo-wee! Got her.
God bless him, he just keeps recording W's.
This is what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz believes, is that it's none of your business what women do with their body, and so stay out of our doctor's offices and stay out of our bed.
Well, I guess I'll have to speak up for the babies. They're not here to speak for themselves. Lord have mercy.
Dog life. Get her. She thought she was about to do that black woman. Don't be telling me what to do. She thought she was about to get up there and do that. I'm sorry. I guess I got to speak up for them because they're not here to speak up for themselves. Dog life. Can we get a like in here for him?
It is Scott Jennings.
They recording all the W's. They should have edited that out. He made her look crazy.
And God bless him, he just keeps recording W's.
This is what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz believes, is that it's none of your business what women do with their body, and so stay out of our doctor's offices and stay out of our bed.
Well, I guess I'll have to speak up for the babies. They're not here to speak for themselves. Lord have mercy.
Now, Kamala has been doing interviews with lefties all week, from the Call Her Daddy podcast to Stephen Colbert to the truly vile Howard Stern, who is apparently a male feminist nowadays.
Do you think there are people who will not vote for a woman because she's a woman? You know, my best association.
I gotta speed this up. I don't know if he's gonna let me play this. I'm been talking slick about Howard Stern.
In radio and in business have been collaborating with women.
Yeah.
And I don't understand this philosophy. especially guys who have daughters and sisters and mothers.
This is the same Howard Stern who fantasized about sexually assaulting school shooting victims and sexualized the Olsen twins when they were just 13 years old.
There was really good-looking girls running out of there with their hands over their heads.
Yeah, I think the bomb teams are still working.
Did those kids try to have sex with any of the good-looking girls? They didn't even do that. At least if you're going to go kill yourself and kill all the kids.
Oh my God, Howard Stern, chill out. She got him, Charlamagne the God, like they said, Lord. Potty mouth. Potty mouth.
And then I said, oh, get the Olsen twins, Mary, Kate, and Ashley Olsen.
What are they up to?
Well, those are the two kids from Full House. Remember the two little girls from Full House?
Sure.
Well, now they're like 13, and they're pieces of ass.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder why Kamala Harris is so drawn to these people like Charlamagne the God, the Jessica Reed situation. Howard Stern clearly showing he's got some issues that he needs to work out. And she gives these people interviews. Perfect sense. Hey, YouTube, when they trying to pull this one down, I'm reacting to it. When Howard Stern people, they try to come out, like this is reaction. I stopped the video right here. I'm letting y'all know because I know what they about to try to do. Thug life. And my reaction to this, when you come after this video, instead of trying to pull this video down, why didn't you try to take him off the air? That's my reaction. That was repulsive what he said about Ashley Olsen, and that's ridiculous. The Full House kids. I gotta talk a little bit longer because I know they coming after me. Wait a minute. Hold on for a minute. Howard Stern has some issues. Thug life.
And he wasn't just vile about women and children, he also thought this was funny.
Hey, Robin, what does you call a black rocket scientist?
I don't know.
I never would have known that if it wasn't for Rita. Shout out to Rita. Shout out to Sky News Australia. Did y'all know he was doing that in blackface? Calling us N-words? Like, did y'all know that?
I thought this was funny.
Hey, Robin, what does...
This okay? This Sarah Silverman does this. This is why I stopped being like Sarah Silverman responded to one of my posts. I unfollowed her when she did this. This is ridiculous.
What does you call a black rocket scientist?
I don't know.
But you know, anything can be forgiven and forgotten if you become a rabid anti-Trumper. Here's Howard Stern talking about how much he hates Trump voters.
I don't hate the guy. I hate the people who vote for him. I think they're stupid. I do. I'll be honest with you.
Anybody that watches the Howard Stern show got issues. Got serious issues.
I have no respect for you.
Joining me now with the The latest from the US is Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Kosha, while Florida is hit with Hurricane Milton, which has pounded the state with ferocious 100-mile-per-hour winds, producing a series of devastating tornadoes, the vice president, the woman who wants to be leader of the free world, was kicking back, having a beer with late-night lefty TV host Stephen Colbert.
I'm just curious.
Okay, the last time I had beer was...
Theory 23 says screen recording Hyperboy so you could repost if deleted.
Is at a baseball game with Doug.
So cheers.
Cheers.
There you go.
No, they are not. While all this is going on, shout out to Rita for catching this.
Colbert.
I'm just curious.
Okay, the last time I had beer was at a baseball game with Doug.
So cheers.
Cheers.
There you go. Ooh.
Kosha, we have hundreds dead after Hurricane Helene. We've got many more missing, injured, homeless. Hurricane Milton was about to make landfall in Florida, and the Veep is lying about the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis, and giggling and drinking beer with Colbert. I mean, to me, that should be the next Trump ad.
And it probably very well will be, Rita. Before this hour is up, he's been doing this thing where he just takes live raw footage of her and says, I'm Donald Trump, I approve this message. Look, I think on a macro level, it is interesting to see that she's suddenly doing this media blitz, albeit with friendly outlets. It is, I think, telling a little bit because it's an about turn from the strategy her campaign was pursuing in the last 35 days or so. But the specific outlet, the way it was
that is just so messed up.
Set up with the beer and the laughing and all of that, with the backdrop of, unfortunately, despite the evacuation orders, we are going to see hundreds of people die, and hundreds of people already did with Hurricane Helene. It's a fair point. It does come across as not the best judgment or a little bit tone deaf. And I'll make another second quick point too. I get late night TV and it's meant to be sort of fun and drinking and all that on there is appropriate. Millions of people do, but I don't think it was actually the smartest move for her because there have been memes on the internet about her, maybe being a little bit more prone to the drinking and also just she's trying to establish herself as a serious person. And I don't know that really helps advance that. So on multiple levels, I don't think it was a wise move, but in the media cycle that we're in, it'll probably be forgotten and covered with her next appearance in the next outlet she's going to do.
You're right there, Kosha. Even Saturday Night Live made some jokes about Kamala's fondness for wine. I think it's a little bit unfair, but that narrative is certainly out there. Now, Hurricane Milton has made landfall over 5 million.
Ridiculous.
Good evening and welcome to a program.
They've made 38 arrests and recovered 4 knives. And they said a man believed to be in his 20s has been stabbed. His injury.
Wait, Lefty's peaceful riot? This was a while ago.
Riots were fiery, but mostly peaceful. What's more peaceful than entire buildings destroyed? But over in the UK, they're also borrowing from this playbook.
And in the last hour, they've given us an update that they've made 38 arrests and recovered 4 knives. And they said a man believed to be in his 20s has been stabbed. His injuries are not life-threatening. But overall, it's been a really peaceful and enjoyable day.
Mostly peaceful and enjoyable stabbings. Wonderful. And guess what? There were a couple more stabbings later that day. Now to more words lefties losing it want to ban by deeming them racist, akin to using the...
Hey, hit the subscribe button. I love her, man. Like, she is on point, man. Somebody said, I can't even say that word on YouTube, man. Like, I might have to do a Rumble.
N-word. It won't surprise you that the list is utterly ridiculous and designed to protect race baiters and DI advocates from criticism.
10 ways you say the N-word without saying the N-word. If you use any of these terms or phrases in reference to Black people, you are just as racist as the person that actually uses the N-word. Here are the words: thug, ghetto, welfare queen.
They're playing music. I can't do it. He called her out. JD Vance just had a wild interview moment.
JD Vance has actually been going viral. And he went viral because he spent some time on ABC going back and forth about what's happening with illegal immigration in this country. My dog wants to howl. Love that. There are Venezuelan gangs.
Yo, did she just smoke her dog real quick? Like, yo, shout out to her.
Back and forth about what's happening with illegal immigration in this country. My dog wants to howl. Love that. There are Venezuelan gangs that are actually taking over apartment complexes here in the United States of America. A Venezuelan gang can roll up to your apartment complex where you might be sitting right now watching this show, guns a-blazing, force you out of your home or force you to be stuck in your home. And we just put our hands up and say, it's not happening. Or if it is happening, it's just a few apartment complexes. Let's watch the clip.
The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border. Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
Yeah, and you can hear she's flailing in the background trying to interrupt him to get back in there. And she actually ends this clip by interrupting him and saying, well, just for the record, it's only a few apartment complexes. And JD Vance goes, yeah, only a few apartment complexes taken over by Venezuelan gangs. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that way. We greatly appreciate that you're willing to say that live on air. It's just so crazy. It shows you that you do not hate the media enough. With all of the stuff that is impacting you on a day-to-day basis, they're focusing on what? Calling Trump a racist, a sexist, saying that he's trying to attack women. They're going after JD Vance for making comments about childless cat ladies as if that's at all important.
Vance speaks in Minneapolis. I wonder what he says.
It's a little chilly. I'm an Ohioan, so this is cold as hell for early October, mid-October. But we've got retired police officers, Brianna Garman. Brianna, thank you so much. We've got Colleen Sonby. We've got Dave Velasquez, and then we've got Paul Haddle and Scott Creighton. These are all retired officers in the city of Minneapolis. Scott Creighton, I hope you don't mind me calling this out, but actually had his teeth knocked out when a protester threw a brick. Again, completely unprovoked, completely unnecessary, and completely abandoned. And because of it, Scott, thank God it wasn't worse, but certainly had a very serious injury. We're also joined by Sheriffs Joel Brott and Wayne Cyberlick and Brian Welp. Thank you all for being here. And then we've got Fraternal Order Police member Carol Stray. Thanks, Carol, for being here. And then finally, we've got congressional candidate Joe Tayrod. Joe, thanks so much for...
Oh, they had a sparring session? Wait, hold on.
Right now, JD Vance, I don't know if you saw, this was in Minneapolis yesterday. And then afterwards, Mayor Jacob Frey actually put together a little bit of a response in a very Jacob Frey-esque way, if you ever follow him on social media. So we want to bring in Amber Meyer right now. So how did this play out, Amber?
Yeah, so Vance was actually in town for a Trump campaign fundraiser. Details around that were pretty, on the record, details were pretty limited there. But he did speak to the press outside of the Minneapolis 3rd Police Precinct, which you will remember burned down in 2020 after the murder of George Floyd. And Vance essentially was saying, you know, Minneapolis is on the decline, and he was, you know, ripping into the city a bit. Frey saw that, Mayor Frey, and clapped back a bit while out on a run around the lakes, and posted the video to Twitter saying, you know what, Vance, you got some things wrong. So we've got both of that, you know, sound here. So let's.
What is that? Why is this even happening? Like what?
Let's listen into what they said.
All the folks who are watching this, I think the message is very simple. That do we want a kind of leader who stands with the law enforcement, who fights for them, who protects their lives as they go about keeping us safe? Or do we want someone who encourages rioters and looters to burn down this precinct?
Hey, JD Vance, I saw you in town, but you never said hello. You got a couple things wrong. You called Minneapolis a city in decline. Here's the thing. We were rated as the happiest city in the entire country. We're rated as having the best park system in the entire country. Great place for recent college grads. Downtown's coming back. Guess what else? The last several years, crime's been dropping.
Now back to what's going on at the 3rd Police Precinct, the former home of the 3rd Police Precinct. The city has been working for some time trying to figure out what they want to do with that building moving ahead. It's currently vacant. It's been vacant since 2020. One of the ideas is to turn it into a democracy center. And the city has been gauging public interest on that now, Amy. And then today, this afternoon, actually, in what time is it? About an hour. They're going to present that feedback. I was looking at the press release earlier today, and it seems like it's majority positive. So we'll see, what we learn from them today, more specifics, and also the mayor might be talking about this within the hour. So if we get a camera on him, we might bring that to you guys live.
Okay, that sounds good, Amber. Thank you. Yeah, these are, when you see these things online and the conversations flying back and forth via social media, they usually.
Yo, did y'all see this Roseanne and Pierce Morgan? Hold on, let me see. This is I think this happened a minute ago.
The world is on the verge of flame. I was putting Assange is.
People have to be given a trigger warning that you might be upset by what you may be about to see. To which I think it was James Judi Dench who said recently, well, if you're going to be upset by it, don't go. I mean, how has it come to this where people going to the theatre to watch a Shakespeare play need trigger warnings?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because there's
y'all also let me know if the audio is good. I made a quick adjustment to the gain, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to make sure, I'm trying to see if I can get it louder. That's what it is. But I also don't want it to clip y'all ears.
Censors, they're haters with no talent, basically. And what they do is they.
Yo, she got the bread, bro. Look at this. She getting that money.
They sniff around until they smell some talent, and then they must crush it out, especially if it's, has anything.
You said I sound good? You said audio been good? All right, fire.
To do with today or is funny at all. They must destroy funny and relevant as fast as they possibly can.
Yeah, it seems to me that,
and they're fascists.
Yeah, I agree. I think they are fascists, and they're joyless. That they want to suck the joy out of everything, which means comedy is under threat like I've never seen it.
Oh yeah, well I knew comedy was under threat when Obama signed the NDAA. I said now he's going to destroy all of comedy because you'll be carted off to jail if you say the wrong thing.
Yeah, and then I think he did Bill HR 347 was an anti-protest bill, to where you can be arrested if you say anything while they're at the podium or something like that. In the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, there was I think when Obama signed it, it was they can detain you without habeas corpus. It was a lot going on, and I'm just yo, this administration is wild, wacky, bro.
And it's happening. It's happening. People are in jail for their tweets.
Yeah.
People don't,
And people don't even realize that. I mean, she kind of wacky herself, but that's true.
Want to think of that, but it's true. I mean, Julian Assange is in jail because he exposed what happened under the Obama administration. What happened at, Abu Ghraib. He's in prison for all these years for exposing. So, I mean, it is a fascist regime. Let's just cut to the chase. It is a fascist regime. And two things fascists don't like: dialogue and humor. They hate those two things. So, of course, they also don't like...
Hey, let's get to 78,600 subscribers. We got 78,571 subscribers. Let's see. Let's talk to the subscribers in here, see what y'all saying. And Pepe said, Thug Life! What's up, bro? Love your channel, Thug Life. Shout out to you. Trinity Foster said, Trump 2024. Jeff Sprayberry said, thank God for people like you. Appreciate you. Trinity Foster said, she's evil. Name said, they're going after BJ Vance about the couch rapping. Name said, Thug Life Harris 2024. Elizabeth Turner said, if she gets in, we are done. No more Constitution theory. 23 said, threw a brick like a Boondocks episode. And then Finra Fire said, we was Queens Flip Kamala. And then Jason Wixell said, I would like to have a chance to sit down with Donald Trump and combat Harris at the same table and have a serious conversation with them. Aaron Newcomb says, money. Name says, she wants to protect the Constitution. Elizabeth to be stressed. James Cito said, Trump 2025. K to the LA said, Ms. Turner, unfortunately, it's hanging on by a thread as it is right now. Aaron Newcomb says, this named person is a Chinese bot. Y'all going in on the name person. D Code 718 said Kamala face looked like the Grinch that's trying to steal America. Jeff Sprayberry said, you get me through my shift at work, bro. Love the show. Appreciate you. Aaron Newcomb, shout out to you. And then somebody say name you sound. So they going in on the dude named name. Theory 23 said, Piperboy, did you cover Kanye West yet? Hey, there's a reason why I want to get this channel to 100,000 subscribers. You get certain protections and stuff like that. If I cover like a Kanye now, you also got to understand, bro. Like, social media, regardless of what platform, they have their limits with their free speech. You see what I'm saying? But if your voice is big enough, sometimes, just sometimes, they allow you to say certain things. And they allow you to kind of review and look at certain things that other people can't. I've got a pretty decent relationship with, let's just say, YouTube right now. And they've been like trying to help me out. But at the same time, I don't have 100,000 subscribers. You know what I mean? And hey, the growth of the channel is crazy. We got like, I think like 10,000 subscribers in 9 days. So, which is dope. You know what I mean? And so we had 70, I think I started out with 70, I think it's like more than that now. Yeah, it's more than that because I had 67,600 subscribers. Now I got, that was like 10 days ago, and I got 78,571. So the channel's been moving like crazy, but we're trying to get to that 100,000 mark. And I get it. Some people like, you know, I don't know if I want to talk about politics. I don't know this and that and the third. Hit the subscribe button. Yeah, and you know, people that subscribe, a lot of times you hear them say, I've been watching you for a while. I decided to subscribe. You know, so I mean, shout out to people that subscribe. It is what it is. And another reason why I do it, because if I don't have subscribers, only depending on the stream, the comments are just flying. You know, so you see how I just read like a bunch of people's comments, and sometimes I react to the comments. It's difficult to do that if I don't have subscribers only on. Somebody, Mythic Player said, we are I think you mean self-serving royalty, and we don't even realize it. Or self-serving royalty, and we don't even realize it. Lorna H said, could it be possible Harris is a I can't say that. Theory 23 said, I got you, bro. Smart salute. Your boy. Yeah, and I used to, you know, this is my second YouTube channel. The other channel I had to learn a lot from. And that channel went down when I had like, I think it was like 30,000 subscribers or something like that. And I think I even had like 10 million views on that channel, and they just, you know what I'm saying? So I had to like revamp and like really pay attention to different things. And when you get that check mark, bro, you get the 100,000 subscribers. It's not just about, oh, I could say I got 100,000. I got 30 million. I got 32 million views on the channel. It's not necessarily about the subscribers. It's just about being able to bring you different type of content, you know, without having that worry. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But like you mentioned Kanye, definitely I want to talk about that. Yeah, you're darn right I do. You know, but it's just, I've got to be super careful about what I do, you know, so it is. And then you also know it's an election year, you know, so I want to cover that as much as I can, you know, and, you know, even after, like, I want to cover it to see what's going on. But I really got to be careful, man. And shout out to people like Fox News and some liberal and like they don't, you know, some of them don't care, but like a CBS or something like that, like I have to be careful even with playing that, you know. And Univision, I played a lot of Univision. Thug Life, it is what it is. Thug Life. But it was the part I think they came after me with, which when I showed her looking at the teleprompter, they didn't want that to get out. So if you really pay attention, like, and you look through YouTube, you type in Kamala Harris, you might see a few people talking about it, the teleprompter. And when you look at their subscribers, they got millions of subscribers and stuff like that. So they have more leeway to do things. Whereas like Univision, they ended up hitting me with a copyright and I had to decide to remove it or dispute it. So if I dispute it, it takes 30 days, right? They got 30 days to respond to the dispute to decide whether or not my dispute is valid, and I basically said I was reacting to it, which I did, or I could trim it out and then the video will be clear like through all countries like right away. But it's like I want that in there, and I want to test to see whether or not YouTube is going to honor that, and they can just come back and say no, we're not honoring it. There's also another way of doing it, right? It's like when you react to something and you want an immediate decision. It's like I could do that, but then if they deny it, like, cause I don't even think they have to give super good reasoning to deny it. They could just hit them and be like, are you cool with this? And they could say no. And then you get a copyright strike. So the other way, you don't get a strike, but you got to wait 30 days. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of people I've been talking to, like who do reactions, I know a lot of like really popular people that do this like on a regular basis, like big, you know what I mean? And they always say, man, like, be careful what you do until you get your first 100,000. That's what they tell me all the time, you know? So I'm playing the game how it goes. You know what I mean? And this is why you got like a Pierce Morgan. He can do the interviews and push the buttons, the hot topic issues, and do whatever. He got 3 million people on this channel. You know what I mean? That's different, you know, but just to be able to have a little bit more security, we need more subscribers on the channel. And I just appreciate everybody that's been subscribing. Right now, we got 78,591 people. And I think the videos got, how many views we got on this video, y'all? I don't know if y'all can see it, but I can see it. Let me tell y'all what we got. Cali Player said YouTube does have a decent appeal system. Yeah, we about to see if it works. This video's got 39,000 views right now. So it's pushing close to 40,000. But you also got to think, like, if the video's not being liked and things like that. And I'm competing right now because it's a lot of, like, very popular people who just went live. So, and their lives are ending. So people, like, running towards, like, different channels. And you got, like, a presidential, like, lady just did an interview, Kamala Harris, with Charlamagne. Got people tuning into that. And entertainment, because my phone is ringing and everybody like, yo, you ain't gonna talk about this, you ain't gonna talk about this, you ain't gonna, you know, you need to, you know, so people are very distracted, you know what I mean, right now. And then somebody said, money talk, subscriptions equal money. Not really, not on YouTube. Like, I don't, so like, before I started talking about this, I didn't like put too much focus on subscribers. Like, I might like at the end of a video be like, come and rate, subscribe, let me know what y'all think about that. But I didn't really put emphasis on that because I was getting like a lot of views. So views is the money, you know what I mean? But it's just like now I'm trying to branch out from that subculture that I was talking about, and I want to talk more about politics. I want to talk about more about entertainment. So with that, it's like you need the subscribers to back you, because I'm going to be going against, like, you know what I mean, labels and, you know what I mean, different people that control content. So I have to be able to say, oh, well, I have 100,000 people, you know, I'm verified, you know, and, you know, whatever. Or I just get with a different YouTube network, but they take like so much money, like it's ridiculous. But I'm working with a network right now that's pretty reasonable, you know what I mean? But that it is important to have, like, if y'all trying to do this, the subscribers, like 100,000 is important. And then Aaron Newcomb says, I'm not a name, said Elizabeth, yes, Harris 2024, he trolling. Somebody said, you're doing a good job staying in the algorithm and raising those numbers. I got to, man. Like, and you know, I got a lot of things I've been wanting to do, but like I had to tell myself, bro, Like, I'm just gonna just shut down everything and focus on this channel for a minute. You know what I mean? And that was my thing. You know, I'm always distracted with different things. I'm watching movies, I'm playing Xbox and PlayStation and going to the movies and, you know what I'm saying? Living life, thug life. It is what it is. Traveling, going to Europe and, you know what I mean? Just came back from New Orleans. I'm traveling all the time, but I'm like, but in the back of my mind, it's like, yo, I need to grow this YouTube channel. Because I see, you know, and I go down to the YouTube, the wormhole, you know what I mean? And I'm like looking at politics, like, man, I wish I could talk about this. And then I'm like, I'm just going to have to just say, forget it. Crack down on what I'm doing and just run. And that's why y'all been seeing me live multiple times a day. You know what I mean? And I make a decent amount at work, like where I work at. So I only have to work 3 days a week. And I could make ends meet doing that. You know what I mean? So this is my hobby, you know, and I want to eventually one day, you know, get to the point where I got 500,000 subscribers or something and I don't have to go to work. You know, that would be nice. I could just sit here, upload videos and stuff like that and talk about different things that's going on, you know, and I got a crazy expensive camera that I used to use. I'm going to get back to using. But once I hit 100,000, that's when I'm going to start like running and using all that stuff again. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But shout out to everybody. Let's listen to a little bit with this.
Any scent of truth, which actually, you know, the people
Callie
need.
Plays said, we all been there, but you had to lock in and it's paid off. Man, it has, man. And that's the thing of life, man. It's not about what you do for a living that ends up bringing you like fulfillment. Sometimes it's what you do outside of your job. You know what I mean? And I've had fun. Like, bro, my phone, trust me, my phone is blowing up. Yo, come out. Why you ain't going to the club? Why you ain't doing? My phone is doing that. But that's not going to get me where I want to be. That's not going to make me more aware of what's going on. I hate when I'm like looking at something and I find out little bits of information. It's like, I don't have time to really look at everything. We do. It's just about what you spending your time doing. You feel me? So that's why, look, if y'all been kicking it with me for the past 2 or 3 hours, we just looked at a lot of stuff real quick. So I could do it like this and we could all like gain understanding of what's going on.
Need to have liberty because you can't have liberty without truth. So it's just a big unified field of bullshit. And it's also a color revolution by the book, the Marxist book. You know, it's a color revolution in America. We exported it everywhere. Egypt, Iran, everywhere, and you know, now it's back home. And you know, all the birds have come home to roost in the UK too. You know, we have to, we're on the wrong path and we have to turn it around.
What do you mean by color revolution?
But war and death. Huh?
What do you mean by color revolution?
What?
What do you mean by?
She said what?
The Marxist overthrow. Color revolution, Google it.
Right.
It's part of the whole Marxist playbook, color revolution. When you figure out enough ways to divide.
Let me know in the comment section, what do y'all think about Roseanne? Do y'all think she's like, or do you think she knows what she's talking about? I wonder, because you know, like some people, and this is me being like completely real, right? Some people have so much free time because they rich. And I got nothing against rich people. Shout out to them. Thug life. They support me. It is what it is. But some people have so much free time, right? That they just sit there and read like things that you wouldn't. You kind of thought about, let me read about Marxism a little bit. Let me read about this, read about that. But they just got time on their hands. They can just read all day long. And sometimes, like, I think that, like, the amount of knowledge that they could be getting could be, like, making them different than us. And Theory 23 said, I think she's just had a Miller Lite.
A society against itself. When you turn, like, a little tiny group of people into a protected class that then can complain and affect legislation and pull it away from schools and the taxpayers. It's a grift to drain off all the money to little NGOs and, you know, take people's money, send it out of the country, put it into private pockets, It's like, you know, an inverse pyramid scheme.
I think
Okay, first of all,
No chance. No chance.
I think she kind of wacky though, but I don't know. You tell me. It says Candace Owens challenges Bill Mayer on explosive interview.
Well,
Like,
just
you
to
think
educate.
that-
Like, I'm not gonna be like, I don't like this dude, bro. Let me not sneak this in, bro.
You almost lost America on January 6th. Like, I just don't buy that you're that soft.
Yeah, I do. And just to educate you a little on this, I was saying this for 5 years when everyone was laughing at me for saying this, that Trump would never concede the election and he would never go away. I was all alone on Iraq.
In this video, Candace Owens and Bill Maher engage in a heated yet thought-provoking debate tackling a range of controversial topics, including Trump's role in the January 6th Capitol riots, media bias, the Me Too movement, climate change, and the rise of political correctness. Owens skillfully challenges Maher's viewpoints, defending conservative positions on these issues while exposing what she sees as hypocrisy and manipulation by the media and cultural elites.
Y'all gotta understand, Candace Owens, she's the GOAT, bro. She throws herself out to be like right up front, and she be holding her own, if not owning people. Shout out to her.
I'm very, very competitive, so I feel like now I might just have 6 kids, just 7, just to beat them. It's really bad.
Definitely bad for the planet.
I know.
Let's not get into that right away. I mean,
Kids are bad for the planet.
well,
And she's always comfortable.
everything.
They're pretty eco-friendly, actually. Adults are bad for the planet.
Well, they're not eco-friendly in the sense that they're going to have kids, and you know that you're just making more
Y'all know that's water, right? You're not tricking us. That's water.
people who are using resources. You know, people who argue about the planet, and you know, Elon Musk. I don't understand his whole thing about like we should have more people. It's like there's room. Of course, there's room. It's not about room. It's about resources. We don't have the resources. We have the room. We just don't have. I read this the other day where the what did they call the groundwater? We've already like sucked out all the groundwater.
What do y'all think? Y'all don't think we have the resources for more people? Yes, we do. Have y'all ever I used to believe in all of this crap that they say, and then I ended up going to, what was it? I drove. It's when I bought my first Tesla. No, the first Tesla. And I drove it from Nashville, Tennessee to Denver, Colorado. Man, there's so much space unused. It is unreal. Then it was a different time. I went cross country low key. So I went from Nashville, Tennessee to Las Vegas. The amount of space that is unused in America is insane. Then I went from Nashville, Tennessee and drove to Montana. I think that's what it was. And just we definitely have space. We definitely have resource. Then there was untapped water everywhere. It's bro. I think they talk to people that they think just sit in a chair and watch them all day. That's what I think. I don't think they talk to travelers. And then even when you travel, you're in a plane and you looking, so much space, bro.
We can possibly use. There's just not enough rain falling for all your kids. It's all about you, Candace.
Thank you. It's interesting because I've just kind of read this whole book debunking all of that, which I feel like in 2 years you're going to have a totally different perspective on all that, because I've seen your growth and where you were a few years ago to where you are now.
No.
And Elon Musk I think is probably pretty educated about the planet, resources.
Yeah, I think he might be, because he's getting a lot of resources from the planet to build Teslas and stuff. So I think he knows a little bit about it.
What do you think?
No, not necessarily. Not if not either of you. If you think that we can somehow keep putting people on the planet, which has a finite amount of resources, well, it's a shame to have to.
Does he not know every time somebody is born, somebody passes away? While we're talking, somebody's passing away. Somebody's with their loved one and they're passing away. Somebody's in an auto accident. Somebody's getting dumped out. It's all kind of stuff happening right now. People don't just be born and stay here forever.
Cut into that, but you do.
Yeah, you do.
You gotta.
Yeah.
But don't you not believe in the moon landing? So I'm supposed to believe you about climate.
I think it's so funny how people take. Well, first off, I know what I'm talking about with the climate stuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and promote.
Well, you're not the only one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you should probably realize that there is in the same way that there are narratives I think you're now more awake to. The climate hoax is one that runs trillions of dollars, and we are not running out of space. You could fit the entire world if you stacked it like New York City in Dallas. So
fit. I just said it's not about.
Fit, but the point is that the hurricanes are down. The whole idea that every time it rains, it's because something bad is happening is like it's okay.
See, Bill Maher is like smart to a dumb person. He really believes in his own delusion.
What I will agree with you on is this. The environmentalists do often lie because they have this idea, this issue is so important, and by the way, it is so important, that it's okay if we shade the truth to get people on our side, and I don't agree with that. I'm always...
They lied every time.
Well, not every time.
What was your climate disaster growing up? Mine was global warming. They don't even say it anymore.
They don't say global warming anymore?
No, they don't. No, they say climate change. They went from global
cooling... Maybe not in your bubble, but in the world they do.
No, they don't. They went from global cooling to global warming.
They never were in global... No one was ever talking about... It was one... That's such a stupid talking point.
The debate opened with Owens challenging Maher's belief in the narrative of an impending climate crisis, calling climate change a financially motivated hoax. She argued that people were being manipulated into making certain lifestyle choices, such as having fewer children, out of fear. Maher, however, maintained his concern for environmental issues and pushed back against Owens' claims, asserting the importance of addressing these challenges. Despite Maher's stance, Owens dismissed his views as part of a larger culture and media-driven fear-mongering campaign designed to control public behavior and opinions. Let's check it out.
Nobody was talking about global cooling. Yes, we understand that the planet is always changing. That's a different story.
No, there was a whole climate alarmism via the IPCC for global cooling.
No, there wasn't.
There was.
There was.
Do you believe people landed on the moon?
Well, let's just back
because
that up.
If you don't,
because you're
then
going,
I think that's
no.
I think that really sets a standard for this discussion.
You are taking...
Which president was president when we had the moon landing? I wonder why he's taking this position.
Something that was a Twitter
you can't answer it?
joke. I'm going to answer your question, but I'm just trying because I think you should add context, because what you're doing now is you're jumping away from an actual meaningful discussion about climate change and the hoax that's surrounding it and making people fearful to have children. And you're like, well, didn't you once tweet? When I said, literally, I said in the tweet, let's have some fun today. What is one conspiracy theory that almost got you and that you think like could possibly be real? And I said the one that always gets me every time is the moon landing. How come we haven't gone back? Of all the things I talk about and I'm known for, like, there wasn't even an article written about this about me.
I wasn't planning to talk about it.
So it's like, how did you get here?
Because
you saw it on Twitter?
I got here.
Bro, I cannot take Bill Maher, bro. I cannot take him. Shout out to everybody. I'll end up coming back probably in the morning or something like that. But I gotta do something real quick. You know what I mean? Kind of set up for the next day, and then I'll end up probably coming back in the morning. Thanks for everybody for subscribing. You know what I mean? If you've donated, I don't think we've got like really many people that ended up super chatting this session. But, you know, if you did before in the video before, I appreciate y'all. But I got to get out of here. Shout out to everybody. Click your notification bell so you can get notified on when the blogs drop. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Thug life. I'm out. Shout out to everybody that's been keeping an open mind about what's going on in politics. Do not allow anybody to just run your mind, right? And I may be conservative, but I'm not bullying you if you're not. You know what I mean? You can have your own distinct opinions. It's fine, you know, but it is what it is. Shout out to everybody. I'm out. Come rate, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about that. Peace.